Hello and welcome to my channel. This is Lisa with Lisa's Faith and Budget Planning channel. I'm excited to be here today. I'm excited to be here with you, getting into my weekly check-in, the first 8 days of August. Yes, August. Can't believe we're already here. I know everybody is saying it, but I feel like everything is moving so fast. But I do hope your summer has been fun and you have had a lot of activities that you can enjoy and still be able to maintain your budget. That is the important key to having a fun summer, is actually staying within budget. Now, I've been above budget a little bit. I even had to pull money from savings last month into our checking account to cover the expenses last month. So I'm really trying to figure out this month as well. My father-in-law was in town this weekend, so that is something I have to take in consideration and find funds for, because I did not save up for it. And I actually kind of ran the numbers. How much do I spend on average when he shows up? And this will help me for the next time he comes. So I'm excited about that. If you're new to my channel, welcome. I'm excited to have you here. Getting into the numbers, I do all kinds of budgets on this show. I always start with my monthly budget, which is the calendar here, and then doing all the math over here for my monthly budgets. I set up my paycheck to paycheck budget. I only get paid twice, the first of the month and then the 15th of the month, and these are the details behind that. And then I have my weekly check-in. I either do a 4 or 5 week weekly check-in. I have some notes here we're going to go over on some adjustments that I've made, and then my spending goes on the spending calendar. The purpose of the spending calendar is just to see trends. When do you spend money the most? Why do you spend money on those days? And help you prepare for the next week and next months to come. On my spending calendar, I have 6 different sticker colors in order to differentiate which category each item comes from. I used every category except for copay so far, so that is what we're working with today. And I also track, because all of my spending and a handful of my bills, which are here on this calendar, and if it's highlighted in blue, that means it went on a credit card. And so did all of this. I'll explain this here at the bottom when I get to that. But for now, we're just going to focus the 1st through the 8th. And actually, we're going to start here on the 30th, because I did spend here when I closed out July, and this went into August budget. So that was something I did early on. So let's go ahead and get started. All of the spending, before I go on, I do track here, because it goes on a credit card and I've already made a payment. So there you go. Let's go ahead and run the numbers. I always start with grocery household. That's just how my mind works and the habit I've created for myself. So we're going to look at that, and we're going to start here. Amazon purchase for $20.60. It's usually a kitchen item, a bathroom item, or a supplement item. I don't know what this is. I'd have to go back and look, but I know I got what I needed, and there we go. So $20.60 on Amazon, and it was probably something I could have got at my Meijer grocery store, but my Meijer grocery store locally that I go to regularly is remodeling, and so they're holding purchases of certain products I normally get and not having them in stock as they're shifting and moving things around. The store looks amazing as they keep adding things to it. I am very excited about that. But I did do a grocery pickup here on the 2nd, which was $106.78. My father-in-law was in town. I picked him up here on the 1st and drove him home on the 5th. So he was here all weekend long. We got to visit his sister, and so I was buying groceries with him included in the time he was staying here. Then I have over here an Amazon purchase. It was split between these. It was one Amazon purchase. Half the items were groceries, half the items were miscellaneous. So I split the total, and $23.40 of it was a grocery item. Let me see if I actually made a note of that one. Okay, the $20 were like the larger boxes of Ziploc bags, and I can get it cheaper on Amazon than I can the grocery store. And my grocery store doesn't always have what I'm looking for. And then the split. Where's the split at? Oh, here it is. It doesn't say what it was, and I can't remember what it was, but that's okay. Okay, I just remember what I got from Amazon here in the split order. So part of it was things that I needed for the miscellaneous stuff that I needed, but this was $23.40. It was mouthwash, but it was like a really large bottle of like $11 bottle of mouthwash. My store is not carrying it for some reason. They normally do, but they don't have any right now. I needed some face cream moisturizer for my face, and there's a particular one I like. I'm very sensitive to certain creams and scents and smells. I actually taste the chemicals when I smell them, and so I don't wear perfumes. I barely paint my nails. I actually got nail polish and stuff like that here recently, and I think that's what the miscellaneous was, a top coat and nail polish, and I did a horrible job painting, but I don't know, it looks better than what they normally do by themselves. So anyways, I wanted to paint my nails, so that's the miscellaneous. We'll get to that later. But this grocery was me getting a couple things I wanted to get at the grocery store. They didn't have. They just don't have it. Meijer, $121.59. So again, I bought something on Amazon because Meijer didn't have it. And then Meijer, I got the rest of the stuff there. And that was to set me up for this week. And we are good to go. So yesterday on the 7th, $22.20. We stopped in and got coffee creamer because my husband was completely out of coffee creamer. I also got like these 3 bottles of Milo's tea for him to take to work, individual bottles. And for the first time all summer, I bought the family a couple cartons of ice cream. And that the prices on that, Breyer's ice cream, I used to buy it all the time for like $3.50. Now it's like $4.99. I was like, wow. It's been so long since I bought ice cream. I was like, that's crazy. So that went up. So these are the grocery items, household items that I bought. We're going to go ahead and total this number up and see how much we spent in grocery household for the first week of August. Okay, so that is it. $294.57. Not bad for the first week of groceries and having a guest in our home. Though we did eat out more than we did eat at home. We did lunches at home and ate out for dinner, so that worked out pretty well. Now, with that being said, because we ate so much out in dinner and I only budgeted $600 for the entire month of August, and we like to go out to eat once a week for my adult sons that live at home, and they're autistic, so they live with us at home, but they do their Friday night pizza nights. It's usually the only eating out that they do, and occasionally throughout the week they'll eat out with us, and they did this week, and so we were spending a lot more eating out. So I had to move money from our money market account and put it into our checking account to cover these costs. So as the week went on, I knew the money was going to be there. It was actually part of the dividends of our sinking funds that had accrued from last year, I think, or all of this year. And it was over $270 in there. So half of that went to paying last month, which was July, and then half of it went to contributing extra money into the spending category for restaurants. Sorry, I lost my train of thought there. So you're going to see nothing but restaurants for 4 days straight because, yeah, I didn't cook while my father-in-law was here. First one, I had to go pick up my father-in-law, and I spent $7.73 at Chick-fil-A. I got breakfast. The reason I got breakfast is because I did not wake up in time to fix breakfast and still meet my father-in-law, who I have to meet an hour away and then pick him up and then drive an hour back. So it's a 2-hour round trip. And then by the time we get back, it's lunchtime. So I just got breakfast, got gas, and got on the road. That night, my husband and I and my father-in-law had Panda Express for dinner. And my sons had Chick-fil-A for dinner because they don't like Panda Express. So $22.12 was my son's dinner, and then $32, I rounded it up for some kind of fundraiser that they were raising funds for a children's hospital. Rounded it up, and that was $32 for our meals there. Then on Fridays is usually when I take my father-in-law to see his sister who lives 45 minutes from here. Anytime he's with us, we go and visit with her and her husband. We go out to dinner and just have a good time together because he lives 2 hours away from where we live, and it's hard for him to get back now. So there's no way I'm not going to have him spend time with his sister if she's available to spend time. And she loves it. He loves it. Everyone's happy. So my sons ordered their usual $31.52 Papa John's pizza. And then we went to the oldest continuously running Thoroughbred Cafe in Lexington, Kentucky. It's been around forever. And so we went there for dinner. We spent $79.14 for the three of us, my father-in-law, my husband, and myself. And this is part of the reason I started moving money over, because we have a couple of these $70 transactions, almost $80. And that adds up and wipes us out very quickly. The next thing we had is Saturday. I wasn't feeling very well and didn't cook, and we didn't have any plans to go anywhere. We just spent the day together. We've been watching the Olympics all weekend and having a good time doing that. So I said to my husband, just go grab some Burger King for me and just give me a sandwich, and then you and your dad get whatever you want. And that was $27.32, and that was just an easy dinner for that night. And then on Sunday, we met with my parents, and they let's see, how many people were there? My parents were there, and my father-in-law was there, plus our son. So it was a whole bunch of us, 7 of us, I believe. And my parents actually paid for my father-in-law, but my husband and I, there's 4 adults that we paid 4 adult meals for. So that was $78.26. That's including tip in both these places, the Thoroughbred, the Papa John's, and Sonny's. They all, barbecue place, they all had a tip that we paid, and we always pay $10 to $15 depending on service and depending on tab and everything like that. So that's what, that's what puts the price of the meals so much higher. Is we like to give and we like to support our communities and make sure families are taken care of, and this is one way we do it, by tipping and trying to tip at least 20% or more. So we spent $78.26 on barbecue for 4 adults, and then I drove my father-in-law home. So that was all the eating out until yesterday. So Wednesday, my husband came home from work, and I just looked at him. He says, "You can't cook tonight, can you?" I'm like, no. I don't know what it was with yesterday. And it's like this every summer. I go through this swing. I just can't figure out what to cook unless it's scheduled. I can't make decisions on cooking for summertime. I'm not very good. I'm not a great cook to begin with. And I cook very simple meals as it is. But I just cannot seem to get my head wrapped around. I usually do HelloFresh in the summer, but I didn't like it last summer, so I'm just not going to do it anymore. So yeah, last night we went to Casa Fiesta, got Mexican. My husband wanted that, left a tip, and that was $42.03. I think the tip was like $10 my husband gave, so which was very generous for how much we spent, but that's what he likes to do. So let's go ahead and total up how much eating out we had and hopefully survive this. All right, we spent $320.12 in eating out. Did I check I usually forget. I checked everything off. Okay, so miscellaneous. Let's start here. Online labels. Onlinelabels.com is where I get the stickers that you see. These printed stickers, the date dots, the header here, everything on this page. I actually cut and print for myself, and it was onlinelabels.com, and I got 100 sheets for $41.10. It's gone up. It used to be $35 or $36 for 100. It's gone up a little bit, and that was last year when I bought 100 sheets. And usually 100 sheets will last me a year if I'm just printing for myself and not doing too many extras on printing. Let's see, what else do I have here? I have Amazon. So the other half of the Amazon I said was the nail polish. I'm not a great nail polish person, but I put nail polish on. So that was $27.94. I haven't bought nail polish in years. The last one I bought was a brighter red color, and I like it in the winter and fall time period. And I've had it, I have used it, I just haven't used it in a really long time. All right, so those have been taken care of. And then, let's see, $41.32 here. I bought a white shirt on Amazon and then an SD disc, scan disc. Yeah, that's what it is. An SD card for my camera here. I actually haven't been using it yet. The one I have wasn't working exactly right, so I had to go ahead and order a new one. I just got to format it and then take this one out. The cover around the SD disc, and if you don't know what that is, I'll show you a picture of it. This outside cover separating, and I actually have to use tape to keep it together on the one I'm using now. So this one is a newer one, and it should stay together, and I'm going to try to protect it a lot better than I did last time. So that's what I got from Amazon, and let's total this up. All right, I spent $110.36, which is a little more than I would want to in a week. But if I slow down for the rest of the month, I should be okay. But I'll have to wait and see. Then I had 2 gas transactions, so I was out of gas and needed to get gas on Thursday before I picked up my father-in-law. So after my father-in-law got here and we were driving around visiting and doing things, as well as traveling to see his sister and then meeting up with my parents and all the things we normally do, as well as having to drive him back. It's an hour there, an hour back. I needed to fill up with gas again before I left, and that was $69.46. And hopefully that'll last me until at least this pay period, because right now I'm in the negative, but I shouldn't need gas until much later after this pay period. So I should be good. At least it should keep me going for 2 weeks. That's what I'm hoping for. Oh, and let's check this off. It looks like everything is checked off. So we're going to go here and go to the gas, $60.26 plus the $69.46, and that gives me $129. So it's more than I hoped in the first week, but I did not plan well as far as my father-in-law being here and how much it cost in gas to do that. Now that I've actually run the numbers, I can plan it out a little bit better going forward in the future. So I have this unbudgeted item all the way down here at the bottom. I'm not going to check it off because I have not paid it off. It says Lego.com. So Lego.com just released this Lego set, and it's called Jaws. I don't know if you know the movie. It came out back in 76, 78, something like that. Early 80s maybe? I don't know. I'm not sure when it came out, but when it did, it was like a major movie, and oh my gosh, it's got such a huge cult following. So my husband, this is one of his all-time favorite movies, and they have a Lego kit for it. Well, last year I actually got the autograph of one of the actors in the movie. His name is Richard Dreyfuss, an amazing actor, and love him, and it was really, really sweet to see him. And I got the Jaws movie poster for him to autograph, and I brought that back, and I thought it would be really cool to have that Lego set with the movie poster. And because this month is our anniversary, actually in a couple of days on Saturday, that is my anniversary gift to him. And he, in addition to getting that Lego set, Jaws, I got 2 other Lego sets, one for myself to go with one of my movie autographs, which was The Karate Kid, Ralph Macchio. It's the scene where he's standing on this stump out by the ocean, and he's about to do the kick, learning how to do that kick, and that he ends the movie in. And so I thought, oh, it'd be great to have a Lego set. So what I got for that was just the bonsai tree was their kind of like their logo. So it's been a while since I've watched the movie and thought about it, but I do remember the bonsai tree, and I remember that being in the movie and part of, what he wore and for the training for his karate. And so, yeah, it was just interesting to see that. And I thought, well, I want that. And then I also wanted to get a flower set for my mom, Legos. So I got a Lego set to give to my mom as a housewarming gift. My son is building all these Legos for us. I'm not doing the build. My husband's not doing it. We don't have time for that. We just want to see it built. And so we've been collecting Legos with our son. He builds them, we put them up and display them for ourselves. So he loves that. We love that. And I think my mom would love a little flower in her home from my son, a build for herself. So that was really cool. So that is what this $290.18. We are not paying this today. This, what we're paying for today is the actual money we spent on the credit card from the spending and the bills. So now that we know that, we're just not even going to look at that. I'm going to leave it here down at the bottom. It's going to sit on the credit card, and hopefully by the end of the month, I'll figure out how to pay for it. I know it's a lot of money, but Legos are not cheap. It's not an easy or cheap hobby to be in. It's one of the few perks that we have with one of our sons, so we like to encourage it, and we get enjoyment out of it. So we're willing to do that. So that's our anniversary gift for the gifts to each other and a gift for my mom this month, and that's what happened with Lego.com. Now my son also bought 2 other kits that aren't listed here, and that was because he had money and he already posted the payment to the credit card on what he spent, and then I just had to figure out what we spent. So that's where we're at there. Now the bills that happened for the first week of August, it's not necessarily the 31st, but there's not enough room to put 6 of these on the 1st. So from the 1st to the 8th, we had God's Outreach, which is our tithe to the military retirement. PCH or PHC, Pregnancy Help Center, is a tithe to military retirement. And then Amazon Music is my husband's subscription, and Spectrum came out, which is our cable internet phone. And these are the 4 items that we are paying back on the credit card, and I have those listed on here. So let's go ahead and total up our bills. Okay, so we have $353.81. Now we need to figure out the total of everything we're paying the credit card with. So again, we're not doing the unbudgeted. I'm going to figure out later this month. We're just going to leave it sitting on there. I pay on the credit card so frequently, even leaving this on there will not have an opportunity to charge interest. And you'll see why in just a second. So grocery household is where I'm going to start, and I'm going to total the numbers up, and I'll be right back. All right, total back to the credit card. I'm running out of room here. $1,208.58, which is what I did earlier today. And because I put all my transactions here, this payment here matches this payment here, and I only owe $290.18. I just haven't decided how or where the money's coming from, but everything you see listed here, plus the bills and what my son spent and some sinking funds, that is what I've got on here. If it hit the credit card, I put it on here and I make the payments accordingly, and I make decisions as I go, which is why tracking is so important, because if you don't know what you're spending or how you're spending it, how do you know how you're going to pay it, or that you're going to have the income to pay it? And that's the folly of everything when it comes to revolving credit, that you think, oh, they gave me this great credit limit. I mean, my credit limit's high. It's $24,000. But we don't make enough in a year to pay it off in a year. So I have to use it as part of our actual money that's cash coming in and paying it. So I'm not actually using credit. I'm just using our actual cash, kind of running it like a debit card. But it's the credit card I'm using. Yes, I get some points for it, but honestly, it's not that big a deal. It's not important to me on the points that I'm getting. If I had to give it up, I could give it up. I'd miss it, but I'd have to give it up. And I only cash out my points once or twice a year, and usually it's around vacation time and Christmas time, just a little extra cash. But I always have money put aside for vacation. I always have money put aside for Christmas. So I really don't actually need the rewards, but it's nice to have when you can get them. It's just not my main focus, and this is how I take care of our bills. So you do have to do this in order to make sure you keep your credit card paid off. If you don't, it can get really confusing really fast. So I'm going to go back here, and this is how I'm tracking my weekly check-in. I'm doing a 4-week month, per week per adult, $400 per, or whatever these totals per week per adult right here, 400, 150, 75, 625, and or 62.50 and 18.75. The gas was brought back up to $250, which is good. It should cover everything, including the extra trip driving my father-in-law back and forth, that extra 4 hours for this month, and taking up a good portion of the gas for the first week. I did add $128.13 from sinking funds, which closed and brought to zero my dividends for the month. What was left before that went to July, and then this was what was left over in that category. So I added that to it, and as you can see here, $728.13 is what I wrote, and that is the new starting balance for this month. I did increase my budget to $1,600 after I knew how much my husband's pay raise was. He did get a 3% pay raise, which turned out to be $73 for the month. And so I did bring this back up to $1,600. I had it at $1,540 when I did my budget at the beginning of the month, but now it's up to $1,600. And that was $60 that I needed. So I used the $70 and had $10 left over. So that worked out, and I could raise that up, and then I used savings to raise this up. The rest of these categories should be fine for the rest of the month. All right, so let's go ahead and get these numbers written down on what we spent. So I'm just going to quickly go through and write these down. $294.57. Then we'll do the math. 320.12, and then 110.36, 129.72, 0 for copay. I'm not going to fill unbudgeted because we're not paying it, but I will make a note of it. So 0 for unbudgeted. Now I've already made the transfer, and I'm going to go ahead and write over here, how much was it? $290.18. So the new balance I have, $1,600 minus the $294.57. I still have $1,300 for the month. So I have 3 weeks left, so I'm going to divide it by 3, and that gives me $435 over the next 3 weeks. So I'm pretty good in grocery household. Restaurants, I bumped that up to $728.13 minus the $320.12, and that gives me $408.01 divided by 3. A little over $100 a week, which is where I want it. That's what ideally, it's enough for my sons to get their pizza, and then my husband and I to get one nice meal out or a couple. So we should be good. We do have our dinner coming up on Saturday though. So we'll see if we stay in budget for the month. I'm not sure. All right, $300 minus the 110.36. This is where I'm going to have to kind of slow down a little bit for the month because I only have 189.64 to get through the next 3 weeks. That's about $63 a week, so that is good to know and keep that in mind. $250 is what I have for gasoline, and I spent $129.72, and that's $120. 28 cents. I have $75 in copay and 0 for unbudgeted because I'm deferring that or putting it off. It's still hanging over my head. I still feel the weight of it. I don't like that feeling. So I know I'll pay it off. It's just uncomfortable right now. So I'm going to rewrite these numbers here for next week. Whatever my ending balance is my new beginning balance here. And this is what I know I have for the rest of the month. Okay, so this is my weekly check-in. I've checked everything off because I've already made the payment to the credit card, and I know what I left on there, and I know I'm going to be intentional on how I'm going to pay that off. I know why I bought what I did, and it was frivolous, but it wasn't necessarily overly frivolous, I don't think. Especially for our 28th wedding anniversary. It's hard to be original and fun after 28 years, but we're doing the best we can, and this is what we enjoyed. So I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to see more of my videos, please subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys next time. Have an amazing and blessed day. Bye.
As a young girl, it feels we're mine. We played hide and seek for hours, raised our shadows among the pines. So offshore, playful and free, without a care.